In areas with good cover, climate, and soils, like my Lenawee County Michigan property, some of the most intense rutting activity of the year happens in December and January. At this time, the doe fawns have gotten big enough to go into estrus, which can happen when they reach about 80 pounds. I'm showing video here from a single day of hunting on December 10th, 2016, on my 47-acre property in Lenawee County. As you can see, the fawns have gotten so large that they are hard to distinguish from the adults. When you see a doe family moving briskly and on alert like this, you can bet there are bucks nearby that are harassing them. Sure enough, there are bucks close behind.
Glad to see he survived.
Young bucks like these may be seen chasing does from the time they shed velvet in September until they lose their antlers in the winter. Hunters often mistake this for rutting activity. It isn't. It's just kids being kids.
That looks like a mature buck.
You cannot tell from their behavior whether there are any does in estrus. For that, you have to look for older bucks. If they are involved, well then there's probably a doe somewhere who is in estrus or close to it.
I think it's a doe. Across the full plot there, he's over on Eric's now.
By 10 a.m. on this morning, I have seen several bucks on the prowl, and they all end up in a small area of heavy cover nearby that acts as a travel funnel for doe families in daytime. I observed bucks moving to and congregating in this area from 3 different directions.
There's a really nice buck over there now. Smaller buck just came running up here. Little one just came running through. Over there. One running across the grass field over there now. There's another one coming behind.
It is hard to get them on camera because the cover is so thick, but from about 10:30 to noon, there were several bucks running around in that thicket, including one that I judged to be 3.5 years old. After fussing around for an hour, he took off quickly, appearing to follow a scent trail along the creek towards a large bedding area. I continued to see deer until dark that day and saw several more bucks, including another glimpse at the older one.
That one's headed back this way again. Now he's going the other way.
There are several things to consider regarding this December activity. First, there are not very many does in estrus, so when it happens, they attract a lot of bucks. There were 7 or 8 different bucks spending a lot of time on my property on this day, which means they were not somewhere else. On another day, those bucks may be congregated elsewhere, and I might not see any. It is a game of patience. Other major factors are habitat and pressure. The reason these bucks were there is because does were still actively using that pathway to travel from food to bedding in the morning. If I had poor habitat or put too much pressure on the deer, the does would not move in daylight or bed on my property, and so my sightings of both does and bucks would be low.
Well, that's all, folks. A couple of minutes to last shooting light.
This aerial shows my property and the surrounding properties. Because of good habitat and low pressure, deer will regularly be seen still moving in December in daylight on my property and on these other properties. But they will seldom be seen in daylight on these other properties that get too much hunting pressure. Because of the pressure on those nearby properties, and because the few does coming into estrus stimulate lots of buck movement, I record twice as many buck sightings per hour of hunting in December as I do in October or November. To see daytime buck activity in December, the first 3 things you want to practice in October and November are set control, and set control in that order, followed by not overhunting a location, proper stand approach and retreat, and careful stand placement. I assume anybody watching my videos uses good trigger restraint, another must for December success.